Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your StockMiner Brian Johnson, and the Bears took over today. Big move down in the markets. Only a semblance of a bounce towards the very end of the day. Had a few pullbacks, but really it was nothing but selling and internals today, confirming all of it. A big move for the Bears. It was heavy, heavy selling today. And so we had levels broken. And so we had actual opportunities to trade. I hope you guys have been paying attention. We had breaks of these 11,150 marks, 11,100 marks, which was one of my more major levels, giving us opportunities to trade at least 100 points out of this thing today. Not bad. Finally, opportunities to actually make a little money in the markets. It's been kind of nice. I pulled a couple of dollars. I shouldn't say a couple dollars. I did pretty well on some short positions I've been holding that I've been talking about with my subscribers. And I did pretty well on an Apple trade today. So I was very happy with how it all went. But Dow, you can see on a daily, big drop down here. Had to remain kind of neutral to bearish. I said the market or the charts have not told me to get bullish quite yet. This was a very structured pullback, but today that's all been kind of destroyed now. The structure of this very nice, clean pullback has kind of gone by the wayside with this huge red candle today. Be very interesting to see what that volume looks like by the end of it. But the selling was incessive. It was very, very, very heavy selling today on this move down. So I was very pleased to see that when it came to my put positions that I was in. So here we are back into the 50-day moving average. We talked about that. Breaks back below this area or this area here, looking for a move back down into here. I wasn't sure if we'd get it all in one day, but we certainly did. Came right down here, touched it, and then kind of retreated from there. So a good area to look at for support. Would have been a fantastic target on your charts. Next trade really isn't until we get now back below 10,900 on the Dow. The Nasdaq on a 60 broke the 200 here, broke below these levels here, starting to kind of fall apart now in the short term. Let's see if this thing recovers. We were back up here right around the 2140-ish area, and then you see the drop below these levels. If you like to short the Nasdaq, good for you. I'm not big on doing that. But you can see the big red candle taking us, I think, and I've been talking about it, back into this 2060-ish area, back to the 50-day moving average. Will it make it there in one shot, as the Dow did? Maybe not, but certainly well on its way. Not a lot of stuff to hold it up here until it gets back into this area. Watch that closely, especially with all of the NASDAQ stocks. Here is the weekly, and you can see the weekly looking very good for the bears right here. Anything can happen. We've still got 3 trading days left, but look at what we've got here. A very nice pullback within the market itself, leading itself to some very nice bearish profits. SPX 60-minute, you can see the drop down here. We messed around down here at the very bottom. What this is really setting up, guys, for the most part, I have to view it for what it is, and it could be putting in a base before it kind of bounces back up here. I'd like to see it retest and hold this area here, but right now it's just a low base. So any drop back below this, I'd watch this 1168, 1165 area very closely on any further drop. But we got the move, guys. We got this move below the 1195. We got it below the 1190. We got below 1188 and 1185. All of these areas were opportunities to jump in and maybe take a little bit of a short position, and all of them paid off, every last one of them. Some more than others, obviously, but still the opportunity was there. Here was the gap to the day. I mentioned that we may see this gap down. That's precisely what we got today. And here was the run, just a bleed off all day long as the markets came down to retest this support area here in or around the 1170-ish area. It's about 1170, 1175-ish or so, and holding for the time being. So bears still in control, still need to be neutral to bearish on this market so far until we see some kind of strength come back into the markets. Overall, guys, though, bigger picture now, still nothing really broke from the bull side. Short term, yeah, there's something broken there. We need to look at the bearish side a little bit more, but nothing broken overall. I mean, look at where we've been since September. And now look at what we've covered. So we have gone back a little bit. Not quite as violently, I got to say, as I would have expected. I really thought we'd see some larger red candles on the way back down here, and what we saw was a very slow grind up until today, which then, of course, the bears took over in a little bit more strong fashion. But coming back into this support area right here, we haven't covered a lot of ground, so there is actually still lots of ground that we could cover and not really break anything from a bull side. Pushes to back up, I'd watch for a retest of the 20-day. If it continues down, watch for the 50, and then if that fails, 1150 I think should act as very, very strong support if and when it ever makes it down that way. The weekly is now below the 200 week moving average, but it's not where we go, it's where we close, so we'll see where that ends up by the end of the week. And the VIX giving us exactly what I'd been waiting for. Here's that push up and out of this area. Now we broke this, we held it for a day, and this time we pushed up out of it. We have not broke that 2350, which is really the bigger level I'm watching, but still a huge move today in the VIX. 10% on the day. A very, very big move. So not bad for options players. I was extremely pleased with how this went today with the VIX, adding to the volatility, which upped the price of my puts quite a bit. It was really, really, I love the moves in the VIX in this kind of a situation. So far for the week, up and over these areas, looking for pushes even higher on this, and we could certainly get there. The pressure's been there. Apple on a 60, you can see it came down, retested this 300 area a couple times, and you can see how badly the bulls want to hold that area. I actually caught it on a bounce of 300 today, as it was bouncing off the 300 mark. The first time I caught it for a little bit of a bounce, definitely more of a speculative trade on my part, but it worked out very nicely for me. You can see it retested at the end of the day, and now back up to 301. It wants to hold that area. Anything below that, though, watch that 295, 296 now area, which is going to coincide with the 50-day moving average. Are we setting up a very large head and shoulders? You can bet everybody and their dog will be watching this formation. So I'm not going to put a lot of emphasis on it right now, to be quite honest with you. It's too obvious, just too obvious right now. The weekly, though, on the Apple is still just a pullback. We can kind of keep this thing pretty well situated between 300 and 320 up here for the time being. Let's see where it closes by the end of the week. Watching for pushes below 300, then watch that 50-day moving average. FAS bleeding out a little bit today. Great opportunities below the 23 mark, right back into the support line that I had drawn back here. You can see how well those work. And from a daily perspective, too, we did not only break through all of this support, we had a lot of strong support down here on the FAS, but the selling was strong. I said it would take a lot of volume to really start pushing it down. We needed participation, and look what we got. We got it today. It all came in. So below the 20-day, this thing fell out. Looking at this blue line to hold as support, it didn't work very well. Not only did we blow through it, but we ended up closing below it. So now we're showing some weakness here within the banking indices. I think maybe it has something to do with Ireland, who knows. But overall, got to be playing the markets for what it is. Here in this case, held the blue line, pushed back up. We got above 1180, which took us above 1200, which took us back into this overhead area of 1234. Either one of these was entries from my videos. Could have made some money on that today. Very, very nice trading today. Now, we broke above this blue line. This is where the strength really showed itself today, guys. We did not hold at the blue line. We did not hold at the 20-day. Once we got above that 20-day, there was your entry coming right back into this overhead resistance. But these lower areas, not at all. It was blown right through, showing that there is some bullishness coming back into the market from the FAZ side. Bearishness to the banks. The banks are not faring so well right now. They need a little bit of a recovery. We'll watch this very closely, but your next line in the sand is right around 1250. Up and over that area is your next entry to the long side. Watch it very carefully. There is still a lot of overhead resistance here, but 1250 is your next entry to the long side. Hope you guys played along today. We finally got some really, really good movement, and it was confirmed all day long by the internals, and it was a pretty easy trade once you got in. There really wasn't a whole lot of sharp moves to the upside necessarily to really spook you out of the trade. It all worked pretty much picture perfect once you were in the trade itself. And that is so important. It's not just about when to get into the trade, it's about how to manage the trade. And So once again, I haven't said it in a while, but let me pump it here. The mentoring is so worth your time. It's so worth the money to do that. It can save you money from getting into bad trades. It can make you money from getting yourself into better trades. It tells you when to get in, when to get out, tells you why you're getting in, why you're getting out, and I cannot begin to explain to you what kind of confidence that brings to your trading when you know why you're doing what you're doing. You're just getting in hodgepodge. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty at that point. But when you know why you're doing, when you're prepared for the trade and you know why you're doing what you're doing, it makes trading a lot easier. Does it remove the emotion completely? No, it doesn't. It does not completely remove it. But I'll tell you what, it makes you a lot more confident and a lot more certain about what you're doing when you know what you're looking for, how to draw your lines, where to draw your lines, and the whole internals of the market. How does it work? Where's the psychology? What am I looking for here? Makes a huge difference. So keep that in mind. Please get in touch with me if you have any questions on it, any questions whatsoever, really. I'd be more than happy to talk with you about it. You can call me or send me an email. That'd be great. And we'll talk with you all again tomorrow.